Right. So today we're going to dive deep into Tesla.
Yeah, we are. Yeah.
And, you know, like everybody's talking about Tesla these days. It seems like,
It seems impossible to escape it.
yeah. And we really want to like understand, for our listeners out there who really like just want to get to the core of it.
Mhm.
Like, what is it about their marketing
Yeah.
that is so effective?
It's fascinating, right? Like,
Yeah.
how has this company
Yeah.
become such a dominant force in this, relatively new market of electric vehicles and become this global brand
Yeah.
seemingly overnight?
Yeah, and done it in a way that like defies all the traditional wisdom about how to
Yes.
build a brand.
Yeah, yeah.
And so we have some really cool expert analysis here
Yeah.
that we're going to kind of go through and try to like
Yeah.
figure out,
Yeah.
what are the elements of their strategy
Right.
and why has it been so effective?
It really is remarkable how they've managed to achieve this level of success while seemingly, just like completely disregarding the traditional playbook of marketing.
Yeah, yeah. So let's get into it.
Okay, let's do it.
So like rewind the clock
Yeah.
back to like the early 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
Electric vehicles
Yeah.
were not
Yeah.
exactly
Cool.
the hottest thing on the market.
Not at all.
Limited range kind of.
Yeah, they were seen as very, like,
Cool.
kind of nerdy and niche.
Yeah, yeah. Frumpy design.
Exactly.
Like nobody was really
You're making a compromise if you bought an electric vehicle back then.
right.
You were sacrificing style and performance for
Yeah.
environmental, consciousness.
Right.
Which not everyone was ready to do.
Right. But then Tesla comes on the scene in 2008
Mhm.
with this Roadster, and it's like
Boom.
this totally different animal.
Yeah, game changer. Right.
It's like 0 to 60 in under 4 seconds.
Like faster than a Lamborghini.
Yeah, and it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
This is like,
Suddenly EVs were cool.
yeah, it's a whole new ball game.
Right.
So what was the impact of that? Like seeing an EV achieve that level of performance?
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head there.
Yeah,
They weren't the first to make an EV,
right,
but they were the first to make one that people actually desired.
right.
Right? Like, that was the key difference.
Yeah.
They made it aspirational.
Yeah.
They made it exciting.
Yeah.
And that completely changed the game.
Yeah, so they kind of had this like first mover advantage
Mm-hmm.
in this emerging market of really desirable EVs.
Right.
What are like the lasting benefits of establishing that kind of early leadership?
Well, I think it allowed them to really set the standard
Hmm.
for what an electric vehicle could be,
Okay.
right? They got to define the category in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And that gave them a huge advantage in terms of brand recognition, brand loyalty.
Yeah.
They were Tesla before anyone else was really doing anything interesting in that space.
Right. Right. And that's a lead that they've held on to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um,
To this day.
now we got to talk about
Yeah.
the Elon Musk factor in all of this.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like you can't really talk about Tesla,
Yeah, he's synonymous with the brand.
yeah, without talking about Elon Musk.
Absolutely.
And it's almost like mind-blowing
It is.
that this company spends basically nothing on traditional advertising.
It's incredible.
Like no TV commercials,
No billboards.
no print ads,
Yep.
no, like any of the stuff that you would normally think of.
Nothing. Yeah.
When you're like building a global brand.
It's like the opposite of what every marketing textbook would tell you to do.
Right. And you contrast that with, the Fords of the world
Mm-hmm.
who are spending billions of dollars a year.
Yeah. I mean, the analysis we have here shows that Ford spent $3.1 billion on advertising in 2021.
Yeah. And it's like, who's generating more buzz?
Right. Exactly. It's a fascinating question.
It's kind of a no-brainer.
Yeah.
So
So how do they do it?
it seems like a lot of it comes down to
Yeah.
Elon Musk's like very strategic use of his own like
Mhm.
personality and
Right.
social media.
Yeah, he's basically become Tesla's chief marketing officer.
Right.
Just by being himself.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's incredibly savvy with social media, particularly Twitter,
Right.
which is now X, of
Yeah.
course. But, he can generate millions of dollars worth of free publicity with a single tweet.
Right. And it's not always positive publicity.
That's true.
Right.
Sometimes it's controversial.
Yeah. But it's always attention grabbing.
Always.
Right.
So he's always keeping Tesla in the headlines.
Right. It's like whether he's promising self-driving cars
Mhm.
that, may or may not be actually coming anytime soon.
Right. Timelines are always a bit fluid with him.
Or launching a car into space.
Yeah. The Roadster in space.
Just because, or renaming Twitter to X.
Who could forget that?
It's just like, it's all part of this like calculated
I
strategy.
think it's brilliant.
Yeah, to like keep Tesla
Yeah.
in the public consciousness.
It's constant engagement. It's
Yeah.
constant visibility.
Yeah.
And it's created this incredible fan base.
So let's talk about that fan base.
Okay.
It's not just loyal. It's like
It's beyond loyal.
it's like a cult following.
It's like a movement.
Yeah, and Tesla has done a lot of really smart things
Mm-hmm.
to cultivate that engagement.
Yeah, for sure.
So like, for example, their mastery of social media.
Yeah.
It's not about like
Mhm.
running traditional marketing campaigns.
No.
It's about Elon Musk's Twitter feed
Yeah.
and all of the user-generated content
It's excellent.
that comes from like
Mm-hmm.
the Tesla faithful.
Right. And that's incredibly powerful because it's authentic.
Yeah.
It's not coming from Tesla, the corporation.
Right.
It's coming from real people
Yeah.
who are genuinely excited about these cars.
Mhm.
And that's a level of credibility that you just can't buy with traditional advertising.
Yeah, and you see this with like the celebrity endorsements as well.
Oh, yeah.
It's like,
All the cool kids have a Tesla.
yeah, Leonardo DiCaprio,
Yeah.
Kim Kardashian,
Yeah.
all these people driving Teslas.
Right.
It's like marketing gold.
And they're not paying them to do it.
Right.
It's organic,
Yeah.
which is even more powerful.
Yeah. Why do you think the product itself has become such a magnet?
Well, I think it's a combination of things.
Yeah.
It's the technology,
Okay.
it's the performance, it's the design,
Mm-hmm.
but it's also the image,
Okay.
right? It represents something.
Okay.
It represents innovation.
Mm-hmm.
It represents sustainability.
Yeah.
It represents the future.
Yeah. And that's like,
And people want to be a part of that.
yeah, that's very aspirational.
Absolutely.
And then you have this whole like online community
Mhm.
around Tesla.
Yeah.
You got people making YouTube reviews.
Oh, yeah. Countless YouTube reviews.
Yeah, writing blog posts, joining fan clubs.
Yeah, online communities.
It's like this level of brand loyalty
Mm-hmm.
that most companies can only dream of.
Right. It's amazing.
So how does that whole like online ecosystem contribute to their marketing success?
Well, it reinforces the brand narrative.
Okay. Yeah.
Right? It gives people a platform to share their passion
Yeah.
for Tesla.
Yeah.
And it also provides a lot of social proof for potential buyers.
Mhm.
You know, when you see all these people raving about their Teslas online,
Yeah.
it makes you more likely to consider buying one yourself.
Right. Right. And like the example of the Cybertruck pre-orders.
Oh, yeah, that's a great example.
1.5 million people
Mm-hmm.
put down a $100 deposit
Before they even saw the final product.
before they even saw the final product.
Oh, incredible.
That's $150 million
Yeah.
in free cash flow.
Just on hype.
Yeah.
Just on the promise of something new and exciting from Tesla. And that speaks volumes about the power of their brand.
Right. Right. So it's not just about like selling cars.
It's not.
It's about selling
Yeah.
this idea of progress.
Yeah, exactly.
Like they're not just an automaker.
Mhm.
They're like a tech company.
Yeah, they're a technology company.
Yeah, that's pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
Absolutely.
So like, for example,
Mhm.
autopilot and full self-driving,
Right.
even though the technology is still in development,
Mm-hmm.
it's like the promise of a fully autonomous future
Right.
is a huge marketing draw.
It is.
So how important is that perception of being a leader in technology?
I think it's crucial.
Okay.
It's what sets them apart.
Okay.
It's what makes them aspirational.
Okay.
You know, people want to be associated with the company that's pushing the boundaries
Mhm.
of what's possible.
Right.
And that's what Tesla is doing.
Yeah. And then there's the over-the-air software updates, which
Yeah.
is like something that, we're used to with our phones, but not so much with our cars.
Right. It's like your car is constantly getting better
Yeah.
even after you buy it.
Yeah. It's a big differentiator.
Huge.
So how does that kind of like continuous improvement cycle
Mm-hmm.
factor into their marketing?
Well, it reinforces the idea that you're buying into something that's always evolving.
Okay.
You know, it's not just a static product.
Right,
It's something
right.
that's constantly getting better.
Yeah.
And that's a very appealing proposition.
Yeah. And then, of course, we have to talk about the performance.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the Model S Plaid,
Ludicrous speeds.
0 to 60 in 1.99 seconds.
It's insane. It's like
Yeah.
a Bugatti Chiron.
It's like you're in a rocket ship.
It's mind-blowing.
Yeah. So how does that kind of like
Mhm.
extreme performance contribute to their marketing narrative?
Well, it challenges the preconceptions about electric vehicles,
Okay.
right? It proves that electric cars can be just as fast, if not faster,
Yeah.
than their gasoline-powered counterparts.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's like a big part of like their image
Absolutely.
of being like a cutting edge company.
Yeah. It's not just about being green,
Right.
about being the best.
So when you put it all together,
Mm-hmm.
it's like these groundbreaking product features
Yeah.
and this narrative of progress
Right.
really reduce their reliance on traditional advertising.
Absolutely. The product itself is the marketing in a lot of ways.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about their brand image a little bit more broadly.
Okay.
They're not just positioning themselves as like
Yeah.
a maker of fast, technologically advanced cars.
Mhm.
They've also very successfully
Yeah.
cultivated this image of sustainability
Right.
and environmental responsibility.
Yeah. They're saving the planet.
Yeah. So how effective has that been?
I think it's been incredibly effective
Okay.
because it appeals to a much wider audience
Right.
than just people who are interested in cars.
Okay.
It appeals to people who care about the environment, who want to make a difference.
Right. And those people are increasingly looking for sustainable products.
Yeah.
And Tesla is perfectly positioned to meet that demand.
So, like, their commitment to a 100% electric vehicle lineup,
Right.
that sends a very clear message about zero emissions
Yeah.
and their dedication to environmental responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not just stopping there.
No, they're not.
They're also involved in solar panels,
Yeah.
battery storage solutions,
Powerwall.
solar roofs. It's like
Mhm.
this much more comprehensive
Holistic.
vision. So how does integrating all these different aspects of sustainable energy
Mhm.
strengthen their brand image?
Well, it shows that they're not just paying lip service
Okay.
to sustainability.
right.
They're actually committed to it.
Yeah,
You know, they're putting their money where their mouth is,
right.
and they're creating a whole ecosystem
Yeah,
of
yeah.
sustainable products.
Yeah, and they're having a real impact
Oh, yeah, for sure.
on the adoption of electric vehicles globally. Absolutely.
Like, you look at Norway,
Yeah.
80% of new car sales are electric.
That's incredible.
Yeah. And Tesla played a big role in driving that shift.
Mm-hmm.
So what does that kind of like real world impact do for their brand credibility?
It gives them a ton of credibility
Right.
because it shows that they're not just talking about change.
Right.
They're actually making it happen. They're
Yeah.
walking the walk.
Right.
And that's really powerful.
It's like they've become the Apple of the automotive world.
That's a great analogy.
Right.
Yeah, they've managed to make electric vehicles cool,
Yeah.
desirable,
Yeah.
aspirational.
And associated with like this
Hmm.
kind of like forward thinking
Yeah.
status.
Yeah, exactly.
So looking ahead, what does the future hold for Tesla?
Well,
They're obviously not resting on their laurels.
no, they're not.
They're expanding globally.
Mm-hmm.
New gigafactories in China,
Yeah.
Germany, other locations.
All over the world.
So how crucial is that global footprint?
It's essential
Okay.
because the demand for electric vehicles is only going to grow.
Right.
And they need to be able to meet that demand
Right.
on a global scale.
Okay. And then you have the AI
Mm-hmm.
and self-driving car technology,
Right.
which is like, if they can actually achieve their goals there,
Yeah.
it's totally transformative.
It's a game changer.
It's like it changes everything
Yeah.
about
Everything.
how we think about transportation.
Absolutely.
So how significant would that be?
Oh, it would be huge.
Oh, okay.
I mean, if they can truly deliver on the promise of self-driving cars,
Yeah.
it would solidify their position as the leader
Okay.
in the future of transportation.
That-
And it would
yeah.
open up so many new possibilities.
Right. Right. And, you know, one of the things that the analysis brings up is like,
Mhm.
as the EV market gets more competitive,
Yeah.
will Tesla need to start
Mm.
doing more traditional advertising?
That's a good question.
So, like, could we see Tesla commercials?
I mean, it's possible. Right. As more and more companies enter the market,
Yeah.
they might need to find new ways to stand out.
Right.
But for now, they're doing pretty well without it.
Yeah. So, I mean, the big takeaway here
Yeah.
is
Mhm.
Tesla has really, like,
Yeah.
changed the marketing game.
They have.
Like, they've built this incredibly valuable company
Mm-hmm.
with basically zero spending
Yeah.
on traditional advertising.
It's incredible.
And a lot of that comes down to, like,
Yeah.
a really strong,
Yeah.
groundbreaking innovation
Absolutely.
and a very distinctive leader.
A true visionary.
Yeah.
Elon Musk is a force of nature.
All right. So for our listeners out there,
Yeah.
next time you see a Tesla driving by,
Mm-hmm.
remember that there's like this whole fascinating marketing story
Yeah.
behind that vehicle.
Absolutely.
Think about this like unique,
Mm-hmm.
unconventional marketing playbook
Yeah.
that they've used to get where they are.
They've rewritten the rules.
And here's like a final thought for you
Yeah.
to ponder.
I like it.
What other industries could we see companies successfully applying some of these principles?
That's a great question.
Right. And then as competition heats up in the EV space, will Tesla be able to
Yeah.
continue this success
Right.
relying just on innovation and the personality of Elon Musk?
Mm-hmm.
Or will they need to adapt?
Yeah. Interesting questions.
All right, that's all we got for today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
It's fun.
All right, we'll catch you next time on The Deep Dive.
Bye.